So sorry about last week. Got kind of stupid busy. So we're back. We're back for a workout this week. It's a brand new one. Hopefully you guys like it. As always, make sure you have your chair, water, shoes. If you do not have carpet, I recommend a yoga mat or something just to kind of help when you're getting up and down off of the floor. And other than that, let's get started. So get you bring your knees up nice and high. Try to keep your shoulders back, core active. We're just going to loosen up those joints and back muscles. And today I thought we're going to do 2 sets only, not 3. Yay! But it'll be 4 exercises in each set. And I'm going to try and make sure that we're doing total body range of motion things so that whatever you're doing this summer, outside for fun or for work in the garden or something like that, you can do butt kicks, that your body's prepared for those really weird little movements that you might not get in the winter, like being in a forward bent position and a little bit of a twist to reach for a plant maybe. So yeah, we're just going to be doing some functional movements to help with the little baby muscles in the body and the big mover muscles. And then we'll go from there. Feet are about hips distance apart. Try to get as low as you can. You'll probably start off not being able to go down very low, but then as your joints warm up, you're going to try and get a little bit further each time down, bend into the hips and then the knees, and then reach up as high as possible. You are trying to get those arms right beside the ears going up rather than coming forward like that. Okay, so just work on that total body mobility. A few more times here. Last time. And good. Little bit wider stance. Arms going to be up at shoulder height. And you're just going to twist side to side. Loosening up the spine and the hips. Don't forget to breathe. And remember with this one, make sure you lift that heel just a little bit so that your knee doesn't get hurt. And if you get dizzy, just keep your head facing straight ahead the whole time rather than having the head follow the torso. Whatever feels more comfortable for you. You can slow that on down. Bring the feet back in just a little bit and you can do some shoulder circles. This will warm up the traps and the neck. If you're about to go golfing, these are some really nice opening up exercises that you can do. Don't hit anything behind you. You're going to turn those shoulder circles into arm circles. So kind of like before, you're trying to get that arm nice and straight. Try to get it as far back as possible to really loosen up those shoulders. And we're going to turn those into bear hugs. So it's the back that you're building up momentum to feel that stretch, mostly in the chest, a little bit in the arms, and the front of the shoulders. And then we're going to keep that momentum going, and we're going to turn this into slightly different movement. So essentially what it is one arm is going to go down and one arm is going to go up, and then you switch. So you're just kind of swinging those arms like this, trying not to hit anything behind you, probably, is where that's going to go. Core is nice and active. Don't hurt yourself. So if your shoulder is sore, if you have an injury in the neck, take your time with these movements. Breathe deep. And you can slow that on down. Roll the shoulders back and down. Feet about hips distance apart. I'm just going to do normal squats. So make sure that those hips go back first, knees follow. Squeeze the glutes when you stand up. Just getting those knees and glutes to pay attention to what they're doing. As always, when you stand up, you push those hips forward, you squeeze the glutes, they'll relax when they go down. Last time here, and good. Shake your legs out. You can have some water if you'd like. All right. So the first exercise, you're going to need your chair. we're just going to do those normal front kicks and sit down squats. So with this movement, we're trying to get as much knee mobility as possible. So you do try and extend that leg straight out and up as nice and high without leaning back and compromising the spine. And then when you kick, you're going to stand up, squeeze the glutes, just like we were doing in the warm-up. This is going to be timed. So sitting up nice and tall, core is active, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. You're going to kick, stand up, and come back down. Kick, stand up, come back down. This is really, really nice one if you are feeling some kind of weakness in the knees or in the lower back. This one is always good to stay strong, but also stay safe because you're at that 90-degree angle and you're not weight bearing. 5 more seconds. One last time. And good. Perfect. You're gonna grab onto your weights. Now with this movement, if you have heavy weights or any pain in the neck or shoulders, you might not want to use 2 dumbbells. You could just use 1. The weight's going to be held sideways like this. You're going to do a bicep curl and a shoulder press. And that dumbbell kind of ends up right in front of the collarbone and then comes down. If you have both weights, you're, as always, squeezing those glutes, shoulders are back. You're going to bicep curl up, rotate the palms forward so they can do the shoulder press straight up in the air, and then you come back down the way you came up. Your choice. Bend the knees just a little bit, core is active, shoulders are back. Go ahead, bicep curl, rotate out, shoulder press. Bicep curl, shoulder press. Now you don't have to keep pace with me. Do this at your own nice, gentle, easy pace, especially if you do have that injury. Your body will let you know. Sharp pain is not good pain. If it's just burning and not happy with the movement, that's okay, just ignore that. Okay, but if it's a sharp pain, like, oof, I'm injured, don't do that. That's what you pay attention to. Just a few more times here. More than a few. You have 8 reps now. 8, 7, even halfway through, if you would like to put down a weight, absolutely do that and just continue these last few reps with 1 dumbbell instead of 2. Keep going. Don't forget to breathe. And you're good. Perfect. You can put those weights down. This one is a little bit of cardio, a little bit of balance. So what I recommend is you do have the chair right beside you. So really, that back of the chair lines up with your hips, just so that if you need it, that arm can hold on. It's all going to be in one side. What I want you to do is a reverse lunge, bending to both the front and the back knee, and then lift the knee in front of you. So that right leg is going to step back, and then up, back, and then up. If you do have knee problems or hip problems, definitely use the chair, because then you can use the arm. You're just going to do a baby lunge, a little bit of bend in the back and front knee, and then you can just kind of knee kick a little bit. Just get a little bit of activation going in those muscles, anywhere in between there. If you don't need the chair for balance, that's fine. You can set it aside, but I do recommend that everybody look behind you before you do the step back so you don't slam your foot into a couch or something. Shoulders are back, core is active, squeeze your glutes, and go ahead. You step back, bring the knee up, step back, bring the knee up. Always try and get that big step behind you. It's the bending in the knees, the depth, that makes that difference. If you have issues, don't go down so far. 5 seconds left on this side. And good. If you have the chair, I'm going to switch it to your other side. Make sure you're standing right beside it so it doesn't wreck your form. Shoulders back, core is active, and go ahead. Step back, bring the knee up. Step back, bring the knee up. The chair is just mostly there to give that brain that signal like, it's okay, you're fine, you're nice and stable. But it can also be there to pull you up if you accidentally went down too far. So, one last time, and you're good. Perfect. Still need that chair, but you need your weights as well. We're going to do seated bent over row. So you're right on the edge of your chair. I'll just scoot this way a little bit. You have to be on the edge of your chair so you can be in this forward bent position. Grabbing onto both of your dumbbells, core is active, decently straight spine. I want you to lift those elbows up, squeeze the shoulders, and then come back down, okay? Let's do it. You're gonna lift up, squeeze, come back down. Lift up, squeeze, come back down. Try to keep the shoulders away from the ears the whole time. They do have a tendency to scrunch up like this. So just nice long neck. Shoulder blades are doing most of that work. Getting as much lift as possible in those elbows. Don't forget to breathe. Yes, it's always the one that gets forgotten is the breathing. I don't really know why, but just the way it is. Last few times here, and you're good. Okay, so you can put the weights aside, you can have some water, catch your breath, and we're going to do just one more set of that. So we are starting on the chair anyways. So you're kind of on the edge of the chair. Shoulders are backing down. Remember this one, try not to lean back. It's going to be a kick, kick, and then stand up, squeeze the glutes, and then come back down again. If you do want the harder version, I'm going to get you to put your hands on your shoulders. So it's going to be a kick, kick, stand up. And what that does is it gets rid of that assistance that your arms are going to give you. Ready, set. Don't forget to kick first, and then stand up. Come back down, kick, kick, stand up, sit back down. Try not to use your armchair handles if you do have them. But of course, if you need to, generally, just to warm up the hips and knees, use those bars to get up and come back down. By the fourth one, your brain is like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. And then you can try and do that momentum with the arms. If you have the strength in the legs, just stand up, sit back down. And like I mentioned, if you want the harder version, it'll be like this. And you're good. So I'm going to get you to grab those weights. Even halfway through this set, if it gets too heavy, you can absolutely put down one dumbbell. Where we're going to do those bicep curl shoulder press. So I want you to bend the knees just a little bit, squeeze your glutes, stand tall, and go. You're going to bicep curl, rotate out, shoulder press up, come back down. Bicep, shoulder press. Your palms should face me, face forward, when you're doing that shoulder press. Keep your glutes squeezed the whole time. Those by far will be the ones that just fall off the wagon as soon as you're not paying attention to them. So just bring them back on that wagon and keep going. 5 more times. 5, 4. You don't have to keep pace with me, and you don't have to finish the reps. This is at your own speed here. And you're good. Perfect. So weights can go down. Like I mentioned before, if you need the chair, it'll be kind of right beside you. You don't want it in front of you because then it's too far away and you end up compromising your spine. So do pay attention to that posture where the hips are in line with the back of the chair, core is active. The more you can pull the belly button in, the more solid you're going to be in this position. Right leg is going to come back and then bring the knee up. Okay? Go ahead. Back and up. Your torso, your chest should stay forward the whole time. This is a dip down and then bring the knee up. So at no time should you be doing this. That will hurt your back. Just got a few more seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and good. Shake out those legs. And we're going to switch to that other side. Right in line with the chair. Shoulders are back. Core is active. And go ahead, step back and up. If you're finding that something's not really working out for you, generally people put that heel down and they don't have anywhere to put the knee. So the heel's actually up so that you can bend into the knee and dip down into the hips. One more time here, step back and up. Shake out those legs. You're still going to need the chair, but you need your weights as well. Right on the edge of the chair. We're going to do that bent over row. So you're as far forward as possible. Ready, set, go ahead. Squeeze those shoulders, come back down. Squeeze the shoulders, come back down. 3, this is not a fast movement. 4, you're isolating those back muscles. 5, 6, this prevents rolled shoulders. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, last time, and 15. Perfect. Have some water. Appreciate the chair. You need a little bit of room here, so we can put that chair aside for now. This is going to be the side lunge shoulder press. I have you guys do this one a lot because it's very nice for functional form. You get pretty much everything in the body working, but you're not compromising any one part in order to do it. So once you get the flow of it, it'll be much better. You're standing with your feet close together, weights in your right hand, shoulders are back. What I'm going to do is step to the left, side lunge down, look like this, bring the feet in and shoulder press up. So once you build the momentum, it's out, come back, shoulder press, out, come back, shoulder press, okay? We're going to start that over. Shoulders are back and down, core is active, and go ahead. Step out, bend that knee, and squeeze those glutes. Hip goes back, squeeze the glutes. Your core is transitioning that power up to the weight. So it's not like you're doing a shoulder press per se. You're using the momentum of coming back to lift the dumbbell into the air. So make sure you got a good grip on it. And good. The weight's going in your other hand. Make sure you have room to your left. Shoulders are back. And go ahead. Step out to the side and shoulder press up. Out to the side, shoulder press up. I'm bending into my hip and knee of just that one leg. The other leg is straight to the point where you could probably feel that stretch in the inside of the straight leg. Last time, out and up. Perfect. Okay, you don't need any weights for this one. This one's a little bit of balance. So I am going to get you to have that chair in front of you. So essentially what this one is we're working the hamstrings and the glutes in a forward bent position. The chair will either be in front of you or beside you, doesn't really matter, but you're kind of using that the seat part of the chair. I want you to stand on the right leg, shoulders are back, always a little bit of bend in that knee, and you're just going to dip forward from the hip. The leg goes out. This is the stabilizing leg, of course, and then stand up. Come forward, kick that leg out, and stand up. It's actually the leg going out that I want you to do. So instead of just this position, okay, when you do bend forward, You gotta initiate that leg. It's nice and solid in the air, and then standing up. Balance-wise, if you want more balance, that leg never touches the floor, and you don't necessarily have to use the chair. It's just there in case you need it, so you can hover above it, okay? All on one side, so you're gonna stand on that right leg, shoulders are back, and go ahead, bend forward at the hip, and then stand up. Bend forward, and stand up. Always have a little bit of bend in that balancing leg, just because I don't want you to hurt the back of the knee here. Stand tall, push those hips forward. Last time. Perfect. Shake out that leg, and we'll switch. So I want you to bounce first on that other side, and go ahead, hinge forward, and stand up. Make sure that that leg that's not on the ground, it's extending back out and up. Stand tall every time, and make sure that the supporting leg has a slight bend in the knee. And you're good. Shake out those legs. Breathe deep. I'm going to get you to grab just one weight. So this is going to be a frontal raise. Now it is one weight. If you have really light weights, 3-4 pounds or less, absolutely feel free to use 2 dumbbells, and you're going to come in front and then come back, and you're only coming up shoulder height and then coming back down. If you have 5 pounds and up, I do recommend that you hold that dumbbell sideways, bend into knees, shoulders are back, core is active, come only to shoulder, and then come back down. Ready? Core is tall, and go ahead. Up and down. Come up and down. This is not a fast movement. I don't actually want you to build up a lot of momentum. I want most of this to come from the shoulders so that they have to stabilize and they have to hold that weight for you and get fatigued. So we can get them nice and strong, because shoulder is the #1 injury for sure. That'll happen just kind of out of the blue. You move your arm in a weird way, and all of a sudden that shoulder will give you a ping and it'll bother you for months. So that's what we're trying to avoid here. Last couple times. And good. Perfect. You're going to need your chair. If you're on the floor, instead of carpet, I do recommend that you put your chair up against a couch or something, just so it doesn't slide. If you're on a carpet, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. These are going to be chair mountain climbers. So the nicer version, watch the wrists. If you are doing straight arm, it'll be like this. But if your wrist can't handle that flexion, you can make fists so that the wrist is straight. Or the harder version is you're down in plank position on your forearms. Either way, if you're in this position or this position, I want you to pull the knee in towards you, come back, pull the other knee towards you, and come back. You can try both. We're doing this twice. So you can try with straight arms and then go down to the forearms, see which one you prefer. And like I mentioned with the wrists, definitely pay attention to those, because a lot of wrists do not like that extreme flexion. Getting down onto the chair, step out into plank, and go ahead. Bring the knee in, back, bring the knee in, and back. So if you can't hold the mountain climber, that's totally fine. You can just stay like this in plank. And this is a very good core exercise. So depending on your strength in your arms and your back, you choose what you want to do with this movement. Don't forget to breathe. You have 5 seconds. 3, 2, and good. Come on up. Shake out your arms. Feel free to sit down and have some water. Whew. Nice and sunny outside today, so it's kind of hot in my living room right now. I should have put a fan on. Okay, you will need some space here for that side lunge shoulder press. So make sure you have a nice open space, at least to your left. Shoulders back and down, the weight's in your right hand, and we're gonna side lunge, shoulder press up. Ready, set, go ahead. Step out to the side, bend to that hip and knee, and squeeze those glutes when you step back in. It's very important for you to take a big step and then come back in. We are working with your base of support here, trying to get the body to step outside of its support and then have enough strength to come back in. And good. Switching to that other side. Make sure you have that space. And go ahead. Step out. Shoulder press up. Step out. And up. Depending on where you are doing this workout, I am going to try and do some workouts outside and film it. I don't know how well that's going to go. I think I'm going to have to buy an actual mic rather than just my Bluetooth headphones. And then we'll have a change of scenery. And you're good. But if you want, if you're on a laptop, then feel free. Or on a phone. You can, if you have a smartphone, then try it out on your deck. Let me know how it goes. All right, so the chair is there only if you need it for your balance. This is going to be the one leg touchdowns. So I want you to stand on that right side, bend into the knee just a smidge, and go ahead. That other leg is going to kick out and then stand tall. So two very important movements here. That leg that is moving, you are trying to kick it out and up as high as possible. And you're trying, secondly, to stand nice and high and push those hips forward. We'll have a tendency to just kind of stay like this. So don't let that happen. Initiate the glutes, push those hips forward. Last time. And good. Shake out that leg first. And we're going to switch to that other side. So kind of hunker on down into that leg. And go ahead, really stretch that leg out and up as high as possible. Making sure that that chair is there for you so that you can really activate the core and pull that belly button into your spine. At any time, if this is too much for your back, don't worry about it. Just pause, reposition, try it out again. Don't hurt yourself here. 3 seconds left. Last time. And good. Shake out those legs. If you have soup cans or really lightweight, you'll have both dumbbells in front of you. Otherwise, the one dumbbell is going to be held sideways, and we're just going to be doing straight frontal raises. Bend the knees a little bit. Core is active. Bring it up and down. Keep those arms as straight as possible, and you squeeze those glutes as hard as you can, okay? In fact, this movement is all about the glutes, and then the shoulders are just secondary, okay? That's how I want you to treat them. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Get those legs working, and hopefully that will kind of shadow out the pain you're feeling in the arms right now. Keep going. Few more times here. 3, 2, and 1. Whew. I just want you to shake out those arms. Shoulders are backing down. Good. Okay. So again, the chair, make sure it's up against something if it's going to slide out. Otherwise, plank mountain climbers. I did it on my forearms the first time. I'll do it on straight arms, and I'll switch halfway through just to show you, in case you're wondering about that. And at any time, if that plank mountain climber becomes too much, just hold plank. Okay? Ready? Set. Go ahead. You're nice and straight in those hips. Pull the knee in. Switch to the other side. Try not to do this. It's very easy with straight arms to do this. Make sure that your shoulders are directly over top of your wrist, which is why that flexion comes into play. in the wrist. So if it starts hurting like this, feel free to make fists like so. 5 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, and you're good. Shake out your hands. Breathe deep. Just relax into your chair for a second. I remembered to bring a towel. Normally, I mean, I know I'm like in my living room. I could just run and get it at any point in my kitchen, but I always forget, so quite proud of myself today that can wipe that off. Okay. This one you're definitely going to need the chair because this is a hip opening exercise. It's definitely a lot of flexibility. It's a little bit of a plank motion. So we're going to take that mountain climber and we're going to turn it into a frontal lunge position. This one, at any point, just come up, walk around, shake it out. You do not have to do the whole thing. But essentially what I want you to do is your hands are going to be on the outside of the chairs. You're going to step out into a plank position and you're going to bring your foot beside your hand and then be nice and tall in the torso, okay? So lunging forward and then you're going to step back to plank. The other leg is going to come right beside that hand and it'll be an upward motion. You're trying to get that chest forward, push down into the hips, and then come back, okay? So make sure your hands are right here, stepping out into plank, and go ahead. It's to the outside of the chair, not in front, so you can stand tall, come back, switch to the other side, push forward. This one is not fast, okay? We're kind of bending in places that might not like to be bent. So you take your time with it, ease your way into that posture, and then switch. This also helps you stay in control of your glutes and your core. Everything is nice and active. Last one to this side. Last one to this side. And you can come back, standing up, rolling those wrists out, shaking out the shoulders. Good. You are going to need your chair and one dumbbell to sit on the edge of your chair. I'm going to scoot just a little bit to the center here since hopefully you'll be able to see me. I'm very tall, so hopefully when I stand up my head won't disappear in the camera. Feet are about hip distance apart, shoulders are back. So this is going to be a sit-down squat with a punch out with that weight. So that weight actually is right here at the chest. You're going to stand up, punch out, it's very fast, and then come back down. You don't want to be out there for very long, okay? It's just an up, punch out, come back. Ready? Make sure your feet are forward. Don't let them externally rotate. They're facing forward. And go ahead. Up, punch, sit down. Up, punch, sit back down. Keep going. Try and keep that core nice and strong. Don't let it collapse. As always, squeeze your glutes when you stand up. They will relax when you go back down. A few more times here. 3, 2, and 1. Good. You don't need your chair. This one, kind of like that frontal raise, might need one weight, might need two. It depends on your strength in your triceps and how heavy your dumbbells are. This movement, it's also big time mobility. What I'm wanting you to do is lift those weights up over the head, and you're just going to do overhead tricep extension. So if it's too much with 2 weights, you put 1 weight down, lift it up over the head, and it'll do this position, okay? Your choice. Ready? Squeeze those glutes. Set. Go ahead, down and up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't let the lower back arch. 6. And at any time, you can go down to 1. 8, 9, 10. Anywhere around 10 to 15, you can stop. 12. but push yourself. 13, 14, and good. There's always that fine line of your own personal fitness level. You are trying to push yourself, but not hurt yourself. So that's why it's different for everybody. 10 might feel like that's totally enough for one person, and if you go one more time, you're gonna lose your posture. Another person might be able to go to 15, and then they feel it. So you choose where you wanna go with that, but you're always challenging yourself to do that. Okay. This movement, it's side lunges, alternating side lunges. Actually, I'll show you this with the chair in case you need it. So especially if you have hip issues, they won't want to, well, they'll want to go out, they can do that, but they won't want to come back in. So, you know, it's always nice to have that chair just in case you need it. You're decently close to the chair, just don't kick the back of the chair leg when you're stepping out. So essentially what you're doing is you're going to step out to the side, side lunge, push the hips back, bend into the knee, come up, and then you're going to switch to the other side, and you're going to come up. If you don't need that chair, you're just going to stand tall, and we're going to switch right to left. And go ahead. Side lunge, come up, side lunge, come up. You can, if you'd like, kind of reach forward just a smidge. Your torso will come forward a little bit. It's not a lot though, so if you find that you're going way down, you can't even see me anymore on the screen, that's too much of a bend. You do want to keep your head up the whole time, so most of the heart is still facing forward, and then get as much range of motion as you can in the hip and the knee. Breathe here. Last time. And you're good. Shake your legs out. Whew. Ah, goodness. All right. So you can have some water. Sorry about that. If you'd like, just breathing deep. Resting those hips before we open them again. So, like I mentioned before, at any point, if you want to just stand up, walk around, or sit down and take a break, that's fine, because these ones are big hip openers, and they might be a little bit rough. So if you need to put that chair right up against a wall, that's fine, but your hands are going to be on the chair like this. Like I mentioned before, with the other exercise, if you have to, you can also just have your wrists like this. It's just a little tricky, so I'd say probably if instead of your fingers being tucked in, you can have your fingers out so that you're not crushing those fingers very much. I want you to step out into that plank position, and you're going to step forward, that one leg coming right beside the chair, and you're going to stand up and then come back. Okay? Go ahead. Step forward to the other side, up nice and tall, and then come back. Switching. You shouldn't have a lot of pressure at all in the torso, in the upper body. Most of your weight is right in your legs. Switching outside. That back leg will be straight. It's the front knee that is bending, and you'll feel that stretch in the back hip, the front leg here, and then probably in the knee and the glute of that leg that's forward. Last time the other side. And you're good. So just come on up, shake out your wrists, shake out your shoulders, breathe nice and deep. Whew. You're going to take that chair, one dumbbell, sitting right on the edge of that chair. Feet are about hip distance apart. We're going to stand up, punch that weight out at chest height, and then come back down again. Definitely trying to get a little bit of momentum built up here, because the more power you have, the better. And you're always squeezing those glutes. You're going to stand up, punch out, come back down. Stand up, squeeze those glutes, and come back down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You don't have to keep pace with me. 9, 10. Just think of it as being timed that when I'm done 15, you're also done. Okay? 3 more if you are following along. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay, make sure you get that chair out of the way. 1 or 2 weights. Last time, we're doing that overhead tricep extension. So a smidgen bent into those knees, just so you can squeeze your glutes. If you bend too much into the knees, when you go up, you won't be able to squeeze your glutes very much. So it's just a little bit. Squeeze the glutes, pelvic tuck, and go ahead. Lift the weights up over the head and come back down. Up over the head, come back down. 3, 4, fight to get those elbows by the ears. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good, good. You don't need weights for this one. This one's just a leg exercise. If you need the chair, it's going to be in front of you, just for balance. But you do start in neutral position. Shoulders are back. Core is active. We're going to side lunge to one side lunge to the other. And go ahead. Step out, come up, step to the other side, and come up. Always stand tall in the center, then go into that position. It just helps you to start from neutral every time you go into a different movement. Realigns everything, make sure the body is safe. Depth is up to you as always. So when you do that side lunge, it might just look like this, and that is totally fine. 5 more seconds. And you're good. Whew. All right, grab your chair, have some water, breathe deep. We are going to stretch a little bit here before you go down onto the floor. So I'm going to get you to cross that right leg over the left knee, sitting up nice and tall, shoulders are back, and then I want you to push forward with that torso, breathing through the belly, and you exhale into that stretch. So instead of just kind of being like, okay, I'll just hold this here until Tanya says stop. Okay. Just try and just like ease the shoulders a little, and maybe the next time sit up a little bit taller, and the next time just try and go a little bit more. And you might not even see the physical movement, but on the inside, you are trying to relax the muscles into that posture so that gradually you move more and more into it as you do it more often. Okay, let's switch to the other side. So cross that ankle over the knee. You sit up nice and tall first. If you'd like, you can lean forward, but you can also push down on that bent knee. That's a lot though. So if you're in this position, you're like, whoo, that's a little tight. Okay, all you're doing is you're working on coming forward while keeping a nice straight spine. That's more than enough. However, if you are already there and you need a little bit more, then you can push that knee down and you'll feel the stretch a little bit more in the hip and in the lower back. Don't forget to breathe. Keep the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. You're gonna lean back and bring that leg down to the ground. Good. Okay, so we're gonna make our way onto the floor. Absolutely bring those weights down to the floor before you get down there. And then if you need the chair to get down on the floor, that's totally fine. Essentially what it'll be is kind of get into that plank position again. Your hands are on the knees. Step out with your feet. You're going to bend into the knees. If you've had knee replacement surgery, can't put a lot of pressure on that knee, then you're just going to kind of favor it and get the arms down as quickly as possible and then roll onto your butt so you can get down on the ground. Okay. Just going to grab these guys over here. Scoot that back a little bit more just so that you guys can see me here. Okay. So we are going to do a little bit core and a little bit of chest. So I'm going to get you lie down on the floor. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath you. Breathe here. The starting position, I want you to lift those weights up towards the ceiling. Palms are going to rotate forward, so they're going to face your knees. And then I want you to lift the feet in the air. Knees are bent, core is active. Now the chest press. So make sure that when you bend those elbows, the elbows are coming directly outside of that shoulder. Do not, when you come down, generally people do this. They drop those elbows way too low instead of up near the shoulder. Also keep a 90-degree angle in the weights. Don't do this. You'll punch yourself in the face. Okay? Ready? Set. Go ahead. Come down and up. Down and up. If you'd like to make this a little bit harder on the core, you can straighten the legs. This is a lot on the lower back, so if you start doing this, you're like, whoo, it's way too much. You can bend those knees again. It'll look like this. If that's still too much for the back, you put your feet on the ground and you press that lower back into the floor, squeezing your glutes, and that's full neutral position with the chest press. Last time here, down and up and relax. Breathe through the belly. We're just going to do a full crunch or half crunch. So the full crunch, hands are going to be behind the head. I want you to bring both knees and elbows together, and then you touch the head and the feet always back down to the ground. Make sure that they touch the floor, because I want you to get as much range of motion as possible. If this is too hard, then you're going to turn into the half crunch. Half crunch is one knee comes to meet you, put it down. The other knee comes to meet you when you crunch up and put it down. Your choice, even halfway through. Modify as needed. Ready, set, go ahead. Up and down. Up and down. You're leading with your heart. Try not to reef on your head and neck with your hands. This is coming from your upper abdominals, crunching the torso up, not your arms reefing the head forward. Breathe when you can. Couple more times. And relax. Good. Breathe into the belly. We're going to double whammy the triceps today. I know. But hey, there's lazy muscles. They like the double workout. So you are definitely going to keep the feet on the ground this time, because I do want that neutral position to protect the back. You're going to lift those weights up into the air. As always, you're going to do those skull crushers. So squeeze the glutes, push the lower back down. Wide stance with the hands, because your weights are going to come right beside the head. This is not the chest press. This is the skull crusher. The elbows bend and then punch those weights straight up towards the ceiling. Weights come right beside the head. Do not close your eyes. Ready? Squeeze the glutes. Go ahead. Up and down. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're squeezing the glutes, right? 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good. Okay, you can just kind of put those weights aside. We're going to do a little bit of a twists here for these two sets. So the first one that I want you to do is you're going to straighten the right leg down onto the floor. It's relaxed on the ground. Arms are going to go onto that capital T position. You're going to lift the left leg in the air. The knee is bent. And then I want you to twist to the right. So for sure that foot will come down onto the ground. The knee will not be touching the floor. With your right hand, the right hand is going to grab that left knee and gently pull down towards the floor. If you need the knee to be up a little bit higher, that's totally fine to get a deeper stretch into the hip. As you breathe into this twist, you're bringing the knee down just a little bit more and pressing the left shoulder blade into the ground. It's a combination of a push into the floor with the shoulder blade and then press the hips forward so that they twist the lower back a little bit. Before you move, I want you to pull that belly button into the spine, contract your core, then very gently coming back to center. Good, good. We're going to reposition. So what I want you to do is you're going to straighten out the left leg onto the floor. It's relaxed onto the ground. You're going to lift that right foot up. The knee is bent and both hands are going to be down on the ground first. And you're going to twist to the left. The left hand, your left hand is going to grab that knee that's coming towards you and then gently pull down towards the floor. Deep inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Press the right shoulder blade down towards the ground. The core activates, contract everything so it's nice and solid. Very, very gently rolling back to center. And you're going to hug both knees in towards the chest, gently rocking side to side. And you're going to do that one more time. So grab your weights. Core is active, squeeze your glutes, lift the weights up. This is going to be the chest press with the legs in the air if you'd like. So your palms are facing forward. You're going to lift the feet up, knees are bent, and go ahead. Chest press down and up. 1, 2, 3. If you'd like, straighten the legs. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If this is too much, bend the knees again. 11, 12, or you can do this. 13, squeeze those glutes if you're in this position. Last time. And good. Keep your feet on the ground, knees will be bent. Hands are going to go behind the head, and you're going to be doing full crunch or half crunch. Your choice. Elbows and knees come together, come back down. Or one knee in, and then switch to the other side. Ready, set, go ahead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, don't reef on the head, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Breathe through the belly. Tuck your shoulders underneath you. Grab onto those weights. You're definitely keeping the feet on the ground because I want you to push that lower back into the floor, squeezing the glutes, and that stays there. This is going to be neutral position for the back. Those weights are going to go straight up towards the ceiling, decently wide apart, and we're doing skull crushers. Go ahead, down and up. 1, 2, squeeze your glutes as hard as possible. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Good. You can bring those weights down towards the ground. Perfect. Okay, so I just want you to widen the stance with your feet. So if you're on a yoga mat, your feet will be on the outside edges of that mat. Knees will be quite bent. Arms are out in that capital T position, and you're going to drop both knees to the right. Breathe through the belly. And then when you exhale, you can kind of push that knee down a little bit further towards the ground. You can kind of push that hip forward or down right from the hip bone. Whatever makes you feel that stretch a little bit deeper. You are going to keep your feet where they are. Lift the knees up and then drop them all the way to the other side. Pushing down towards the floor. Definitely keeping the shoulder blades down, but they should be a little bit easier than the last one to do that. Bring both knees back to center, and then you're going to hug the knees in towards the chest, gently rocking side to side. Okay, so you're going to use that roll to make your way onto your stomach, and we're going to be doing back extension. So you're going to drop those heels, relax the head down onto the floor. Elbows will be right beside the ribs. Do not have the elbows off the floor. They're on the ground, right by your ribs. Make sure that your heels are down. If they're up like this, you're using your glutes. So just try and relax. And then I want you to lift the head, lift the shoulders, breathe here. Again, if those heels lifted when you went up, drop them while you're up here. Do not use your glutes, do not use your legs. And then relax. And come on up. Breathe deep and relax. Last time, I'm going to come on up. And relax. Hands are going to come underneath your shoulders. And you're going to push back, wide stance with the knees, feet coming together into child's pose. On your exhale, try and get the head down towards the floor. Push that chest down, crawl the fingers forward so your arms straighten out in front of you. Hands are going to come underneath your shoulders to help push you up to that kneeling position. This is hard for a lot of people, but it's beautiful for the hips and the knees. So if you can get into this posture, great, or it might look like this, and that's okay. You might just want to work on pushing down like this and then releasing forward. As big a bend as you can get, the better. If you don't work on this, it will just get worse and worse and worse, and you will not be able to bend your hips and knees, and that's where hip and knee surgery comes into play. So the more you can get, even if you're here and you're just pushing back and like, man, that's tight. Well, it can get even worse than that. so just, start where you start. Figure out where that line is, and then you try and make it a little bit better, or just make sure it doesn't get any worse, okay? If you need to, crawl over to your chair, feel free to do so. Otherwise, I'm going to get you to bring one foot underneath you to stand up, and we're going to do calf stretch against a wall. It'll look like this. The toe is going to be up nice and high, heel on the ground, the knee is straight, and then you're going to push forward. So if this was the wall, just to show you a little bit more of that movement here, as high as possible with that foot, the knee is straight, the hips are going to naturally want to rotate away. I want you to rotate towards the wall. Hands and hips are facing the wall right here, and then push forward. You're going to try to get the hip bone to touch the wall, which it might just look like this, and that's as far as it'll go, but that's okay. Every time you exhale, just push a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Breathing into that calf. And we're going to switch to the other side. Toe nice and high, heel on the ground, and you're going to push forward with that hip. If you don't feel the stretch, and you are quite forward in that chair, then I want you to back up, bring that toe up a little bit higher, and start again. And that will definitely get that calf and heel and arch of the foot nice and stretched out. And you can release. Feel free to have some water. Feel free to pat yourself on the back because you did a great job today. I'm glad to be back. I'm sorry about last week. Hopefully you do this program at least once. You can do it twice if you want. Just make sure you always have at least 1 or 2 rest days in between. On those rest days, you can do as much cardio and stretching as you want. It's just the strength training that you have to kind of, you're so sore, right? For like the next day and the day after, your body's like, if you make me do a push-up. So your body will let you know when it's ready. So have a great day, everybody. And sometime, hopefully in the summer, I'll get to see everybody in person. But until then, I'm so happy that you joined me, and I miss you all. And I will see you guys next week for sure. Have a great day, and bye for now.